Hi, my name is Julia M. Spencer. I'm a real estate advisor, investor, and your number one source for real estate advice online. And I am making this video right here on top of Charles Bridge in Prague in the Czech Republic. And I wanted to briefly answer a question that some of you had, actually, a specific customer of mine that purchased my books before. Hi, Pat. And this one is concerning her question about buying tax deeds and land. Should she do it with a regular contract, a one-page contract, or a quit-claim deed contract? And so basically the question was contracts versus quit-claim deeds. How should you purchase tax sales? So I'm going to answer this question. I actually already responded to her this morning, but I wanted to make this video because maybe some of you guys had the same question. So the sun is about to go down here, and I'm standing on the bridge right here over the river. It's just gorgeous here. It really is. And anyways, let's talk about the topic real quick. Get distracted by the beautiful surroundings here. So let's talk about this. How should you purchase tax sales? So first off, when Pat sent the question to me, I had to basically just clear up a few things. For starters, a contract, a sales and purchase contract for a piece of real estate is really just a promise that you are agreeing to purchase a property for a specific price by a specific amount of time and with a specific way of conveyance, which is how the property and its title is going to be transferred. So the contract itself has really not necessarily something to do with how it's conveyed, even though they're related. So I'm going to try to clear this up a little bit. So contract is basically just a sales contract. It could be a one page, it could be 20 pages. If you purchase a home through a realtor, they'll have contracts that are 20, 30 pages long with all kinds of extra encumbrances and notes and everything in there that you may need, actually. And a realtor will be able to explain those to you really well. But I'm not a realtor, just mind you, I'm a real estate investor, so I kind of do things the easy way, non-confusing way, the way that hopefully everybody can understand. So using a one-page contract is, in most cases, is fine. If you wanted to maybe add a couple of notes to that contract, as in make sure that the seller sells to you the property, every part of the property that they own. For example, don't sell you 95% of a property. You can really pretty much write anything you want in a contract. And I've seen actually people sell properties, real estate, for not 100% of the real estate, but just 95% of it or 90% of it. And this is done for specific purposes. I'll go into this in another video sometime. It has something to do with how a mortgage can be transferred. So a lot of mortgages actually prohibit you to sell a property without closing up your mortgage, paying off your mortgage first. But if you sell the property, not 100% of it, but part of it, like 95% or 99%, then you can just continue to hold the mortgage, and the mortgage company really can't do anything about it. Anyway, whole nother topic. I'll get to that. Getting sidetracked here. But anyways, back to the sales contract. It could be a one-pager, it could be 10, 15 pages, whatever you want to write in a contract. It's basically just an agreement between you, the buyer, and the seller on how you guys are going to do this transaction of transferring the property from them to you, or vice versa. So that's what a contract is. When you're talking about selling a property by a quit-claim deed, now you're talking about conveyance. So there's a whole different set of ways of how you convey a property. It could be via quit-claim deed, it could be with fee simple, it could be with a warranty deed, it could be lease purchase option, it could be just a number of ways how you actually transfer the property, the legal way of transfer. Now, if you have an attorney, and I would very highly recommend that you get one on your team, you can ask them all those questions. Quite honestly, I'm not an attorney. I can understand and do all the work that an attorney does, but for my deals, I still use an attorney because it's just more convenient for me. They do it the right way, and quite honestly, it saves me a lot of time and effort and gives me the assurance that it's done correctly. So get an attorney on your team that can explain to you the different ways of conveyance. But let me just give you a brief summary what you need to be looking for if you're transferring a title. As the buyer, you want to make sure that you get everything that you can possibly get, the best possible title of a property. So 100% of the property, everything the seller can sell, that they'll transfer that to you. Now they can do that with a quitclaim deed, but notice that with the quitclaim deed, they're only conveying the interest that they have in a property. So let's say the buyer purchased the property at a tax sale and you're buying this property from them, you're really only getting their interest. So there might be other lien holders and mortgages or other conveyances, maybe some easements or something like that. So all of that you are still responsible for. And most importantly, the seller is not going to guarantee the title. So if you're buying a property via quitclaim deed, it is really, really important that you do a title search, either yourself or hire a title search company to do it for you. If you hire an attorney, they will have a service that comes along with their closing. Usually they kind of farm that out, hire that out to do a title search for you, and they'll give you all the information that you need to know in terms of what it is that you're actually buying, if there's any kind of encumbrances that you need to worry about. So again, I'm sorry to get back to this, but you probably are better off to get an attorney to do a closing for you instead of doing it yourself. Now, let me just give you, just to close up this video, because we're going for quite a ways, and I want to kind of show you the surroundings here. It's actually quite beautiful here on the Moldova River. It's pretty. In my personal life, I have used attorneys and I have sold and bought properties via quitclaim deed. Mostly just sold them via quitclaim deed. I try not to buy properties with quitclaim deeds because I just want to be sure that the property that I get is 100% solidly the sellers to sell to me. So there's no problems. There's not going to be any problems with the title anytime in the future. So in my recent years, I've started using attorneys more often and pretty much for everything. But if it's just a simple sales contract and I've done the title search and there isn't anything there, let's say the property was sold to me by a seller who's had the property in their family for 30 years. There's really nothing else in the property records, no liens or anything. You can see that by just checking the property records yourself. Then you can be pretty fairly sure that quitclaim deed is fine and save yourself some attorney costs if you want to. So you kind of have to just wage your risk there. So if the property is very expensive, costs you thousands of dollars, just hire an attorney to do it. But if you're just doing a quitclaim deed for a property that's only $1,000, it doesn't make much sense to get an attorney to do the closing for another $1,000, you know, just doesn't make much sense. So kind of just weigh your risks, your advantages, disadvantages in hiring an attorney. But also try to learn what the attorney actually does so you can decide for yourself whether it's worthwhile to do the work yourself or if you should hire somebody. But definitely do understand the difference that a contract is not the same as a vehicle of conveyance. So a regular sales contract, a one-pager, is not the same as a quitclaim deed or a warranty deed, security deed, or any of those other actual conveyance documents that are legal documents that are filed at the courthouse. And in most cases, during a closing, you have to have both. So just kind of understand the difference. If you don't know, make sure you Google it or look at other YouTube videos that explain it maybe a little bit better than me. But also go ahead and ask me questions. You can always leave me comments, suggestions, feedback at the bottom of this video. I'll be glad to answer them. Hope I answered Pat's question here. And make sure you go to my website, subscribe to my newsletter. You'll get a free guide to real estate investing there. And check out my other videos, share them if you think they're valuable. And of course, get my ebooks because most of my very in-depth detailed information is right there. And I look forward to hear from you, work with you, and I hope to see you investing very successfully very soon. And let me just show you where I am, because this is gorgeous.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.